Good Gab, sponsored by Skillskin, a nonprofit organization empowering individuals with disabilities through employment. What's up, everybody? Winter's upon us by the time we see this video, but it's okay because it's hot in here today. We got a great guest. It's Chris Bovey, owner of Vintage Print, community builder, awesome person, and this is going to be a joy for you to listen to. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So what's going on in the world of Chris Bovey?
We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary of the shop not too long ago. Back in September,
those who don't know, the shop's in the Garland district.
Yeah,
right?
We're 2 doors down from the Garland Theater, and that was really cool. Like, I don't know the format of how you want to get into it, but I had been thinking of doing a shop for years.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Let's hear it. We want to hear the story.
Okay. And just looking all around Spokane for the right place, right location, right vibe, everything like that. And I looked at Millwood, looked at Perry.
Millwood's pretty cool.
Yeah. It looked at Hilliard, but I just always kept coming back to the Garland district. And it was like this place that kind of fits my vibe, and it's just kind of stuck in time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's nowhere like it in Spokane. You know what I'm saying? It's very unique with the milk bottle and all the neon and the theater and things like that. And so I had approached Catherine Fritchie, the owner of the Garland Theater, about that little corner spot where a makeup studio is. And she's like, because I was like, oh man, that'd be really cool. And she's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. They're in a lease. But I have this spot 2 doors down. It's the old Cooney Law Office. Are you interested in that? And if you would have gone into it initially, like, it was just a law office with lots of rooms.
I might have been in there once before.
But it was a lot of work, man. It was a lot of work.
I bet that's a lot of walls to come down.
It is. And a false ceiling. We put in a garage door, and I had just kind of been acquiring like decor and wood for the walls and things like that. I'd just kind of been saving these things for the right spot, and I was like, okay, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try and make it work, and we put like 3 months of work into this place, and to create the right atmosphere, the right vibe. Like, if you've been in the store, half of it is retail space and the other half is studio space. Okay. So it's kind of like almost like the Krispy Kreme model, that you can see the donuts being made. You know what I'm saying? Like, the average person who knew my work before never got to see it being made. Sure, it's like an end product. Yeah.
You're hooking up. You're like, hey, yeah, this is it.
And it's kind of like, as far as the printing process go, a lot of people have that mentality. Everything's digital. You press print. And now they get to experience, and like,
it's not quite true.
No, it's like, holy cow, there he is. And it's a long process, pulling one color after another and just letting it dry. And then you see the final product. You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely at the heart of this. And then I wanted a lot of kid type stuff. I put in an arcade game, put in a free kiddie ride and gumball machine and stuff like that. So
what's driving that choice, like, to be inviting to the kids?
It's there's not a lot. I raised 2 boys here. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of fun family experiences in Spokane. Like, you think of, like, the theaters are going away. You think of, like, there's no Blockbusters anymore. Roller skating rinks are kind of dying out. Like to give families this cool experience where the kids have fun and the adults get to shop and they have fun and things like that. And we have classes for adults and stuff. So
I can see that.
Yeah. So
see the allure.
Yeah. So creating this cool family atmosphere was kind of the motivator behind that. But and seeing that those things are kind of dying and going away, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's that community building. We were talking off camera a little bit. You're like, no, let's have some families be in the Garland district. Let's see what's going on. There's a ton of great business owners that are there,
Absolutely.
just that feel the same way that you feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How's that connection been? I bet everyone's starting to talk to each other. I mean, that's a tight knit community anyway, right?
It's pretty cool, and I've really been able to. One of the dreams I wanted to do was work hand in hand with the Garland Theater, because a lot of families still go to the Garland Theater. You know, it's affordable, you know, things like that.
What's your first memories of the Garland Theater?
I worked at the Garland Theater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So right around like when Titanic came out, I was sweeping the floors, you know what I'm saying? I was giving out popcorn and stuff like that, and I just had this awesome connection with it. It was a great job, dream job.
I bet. It was just an awesome spot. My grandparents would take me there since I was, basically, old enough to sit still for a movie.
Yeah,
and so
absolutely.
we've been going in there for a long time. I just love that place.
Yeah, and so I really wanted to be able to work hand in hand with them. To produce something cool. And so since last year, like, they give me the lineup of the movies coming out. And so we've been able to do some exclusive Bovey prints, like, based on the movie. Like, Nightmare Before Christmas is playing on Friday, and I do an exclusive print, glow-in-the-dark print, and so families get to come out, they get the print, they get a free ticket to the theater, and it's kind of this cool symbiotic relationship.
Yeah,
you know what
I
I'm
can
saying?
see it.
Yeah. So that type of thing, like, the more that we can do that in the Garland district, I think would be, it would give, when you're talking about community building, like, it definitely feels like that. And the more that families and things can come out and have this cool night and this cool memory, that's what I'm aiming for. You know what I'm saying? So
I think you're gonna hit that one out of the park.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Like
I'm trying, man.
Well, we got to, right? If we don't, nothing will happen. And
yeah.
Everyone's got great ideas, but when you actually start to make it a reality and just try.
Yeah, and
see what works, evolve.
Yeah, that's what I love about Spokane, man, is because we can try something brand new that we've never seen before, and the community is 100% behind you, and they have your back, and they're like, yes, let's give it a shot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do. We do big things here.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Like, one thing I'll always remember is Ryan Tucker. We went to high school together.
Yeah, Ryan from who runs all the AV here at the library.
Yeah.
Great dude.
Yeah. Like, one time he wanted to do a live version of Seinfeld, I think at the Big Dipper. And it was huge, you know. It's like, that's so weird and random, but Spokane got behind it and said, "Yeah, that sounds awesome. Let's give it a shot." You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a lot of people that fear comes into place. You know, obviously, it's like, I've never done a store before. I've never done X, Y, and Z before, so that'll prevent me from trying. But again, the thing that I love about this community is how much they've had my back from day one. You know what I'm saying? And been supportive of anything I want to try. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome. Yeah, because like, what if no one shows up?
Yeah,
that's real.
Absolutely. Yeah. What if no one shows up? That's a big thing. But like, the thing that we just did a month or so ago, I launched the Bovey Boneyard, is what I call it.
Tell us more.
Yeah. About 3 years ago, I acquired a big Wolfie sign, a big neon sign, and I had no idea what I was going to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so my wife, Liz, she's 100% supportive. She's like, "Hey, let's put it in the front yard. Let's restore it.
Like
let's
that
light
Wolfie's
it up."
restaurant sign.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. And then slowly, more and more just kept coming my way, like big signs.
I've got a connection for us, I think.
What?
Oh, Skillskin, our company, we bought this company called A&W Window Cleaning, and there was a giant KFC bucket in there. And I think you ended up with it.
I
didn't
have it
you?
in my yard. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah.
We saw that thing when that place was just so packed full of that whole warehouse, just packed full of stuff.
That's funny.
And just sparked
That's
that
funny.
thought.
Yeah.
I remember he told me, he's like, yeah, Chris came by. I was like, who?
That's funny. And the weirdest part of that story is like a week before, like I've started like acquiring these signs and putting them strategically in my property, still not knowing what's going on. And I was saying to my youngest son, I was like, you know what would be cool is like a big KFC bucket, like right there. And like a week later, no kidding, like
manifested this.
Yeah, that was so crazy. It was like literally a week later, a KFC bucket comes across my path. I was like, that's meant to be.
Yep.
So
bring it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we put it on this big pole, and it lights up every night. But so finally we got to the point where Liz and I are talking, and we're like, okay, what are we gonna do? And we decided that we're gonna hold a vintage print event at our house and invite Spokane all the way out to Medical Lake on my property, and experience these signs that they all grew up with that are pretty nostalgic for all of us. And that's and that was scary. That's something brand new.
And kind of intimate too. It's like you're inviting the public to your house.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're thinking, and worst case scenarios are running through your head. Like, what if someone gets hurt, blah, 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 things like this. What if no one shows up? That's a big one. You know what I'm saying? But like 500 plus people came, and we served beer. We had free snacks. I gave a tour. There was music, and it was a phenomenal night. It was the perfect night. And I've gotten so many people after that. I'm like, are you going to do it again? Are you going to do it again? And things like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to do it again.
Medical Lake?
Yeah, we're going to do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I'm out in Clear Lake.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We're not too far away from
we're
each
neighbors.
other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah.
Did you guys come okay from the fires?
Yeah, we did actually. Like we're just west of the base on McFarland, and you could see the fires in the city, and you could see the smoke, and you're just holding your breath the entire time if that wind shifts, you know what I'm saying? And so we had the Boneyard event like scheduled like right as the fires happened, so we canceled it, postponed it a month, and then held it, and we were able to raise $2,000 for victims of the fire as well. So it was kind of a plus in that aspect as well. So
community building.
Yeah, it is.
Where did this come from you? Where is that drive? And have that artist spark been in you forever?
Yeah, I don't know, man. The artist spark, like I was kind of artsy kid in high school and stuff like that.
Did you grow up here?
Yeah, I moved here when I was 9 years old, so pretty much.
Yeah. Definitely this is your town.
Yeah. Like went to high school here, junior high, everything like that. And I graduated high school not knowing what I was going to do. I went over to Seattle, tried tech stuff, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't my fit, got super depressed.
Gonna make your way.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, it's a good paying job, but it wasn't what you wanted to do. You know what I'm
sucking.
saying? Yeah. Yeah, like that whole city was just like it was.
I know a little bit about that.
Yeah.
I call it I did 6 years in Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely. The commute, oh my gosh, just craziness. And so after 3 years, I ended up coming back, and then I got my first graphic design job with like no skills, no college.
Just a connection?
I had taught myself Photoshop since I was like 15 years old. And so having that access to that type of skill was kind of desired at that time. And so I got my first graphic design job at a sign shop of all places, and I would do sign mock-ups. And it just kind of evolved from there. And finally, I got a big break, and I became the art director of the Inlander. And I was able to like do graphic design and do covers and page layout and things like that. And
Oh man, so like that's just the creative juices were flowing.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
year was that when you went over to the Inlander?
I would say like 2006, 7, something like that. I did almost 10 years
Awesome.
there. Yeah.
Man, we had Pia Hallenberg on
Yeah.
one of our first guests talking about cybersecurity. She talked about some of those days in the late 90s, early 2000s in
Yeah.
Inlander.
Yeah.
Just was like, it was the spot to
It
be.
was.
I know that's when I felt like Spokane was on the map. It was like right when you were there. When I'd pick that thing up, I was like super excited. I'm like, what is happening?
Absolutely.
Like, I could just feel our town changing.
Absolutely.
And I loved it. I had no idea that was you. Who
That
were
was
putting
me,
that
man.
together.
You were
Right
picking up my
on.
stuff. Yeah. And during this period that I was there, Spokane was really going through an inferiority complex, and we're not as cool as Seattle and Portland, that type of thing. And Spokane doesn't suck kind of evolved out of that, and it was birthed out of that.
I gotta say, I really don't like that. Just so you know, I will put it out there. Sorry, listeners.
I'm not going to down on anyone, but I totally agree that as far as like comparing yourself and saying, hey, we don't suck. Instead, I took a different approach and I said, here's why we don't suck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to show everyone why I love this town and why we should be proud of it. And at the time, no one was doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I just had this idea of, okay, I'm going to celebrate this town and where we live and all the cool stuff here. And I had a meeting with Visit Spokane at the time, and I had it set up, and I was like, oh, man, I'm going in, and I'm still working a full-time job at the Inlander, and this is going to be like this side thing. And I go in, I give them the pitch, everything like this, and they just laugh me out of the office. You know what I'm saying? They're like, no, this is ridiculous. And so
You're like, oh, what is
yeah,
happening here?
and
it's like, no, this is good.
and I'm that stubborn guy that says, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go home, I have the screen printing set up already, and I'm like, I'm just going to try it. And I printed 13 Mount Spokane prints in my washroom. And my wife, Liz, is like, what are you going to do with that? I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no plans. But
it needed to come from here, and it had to come out.
Yeah, the creative process for me, like, I've always described it as holding your breath. If there is something that I see inside, I can't really exhale until it comes out, and I produce it, and then you can breathe, and you're like, okay, it came out, and I'm done, and I can move on, that type of thing. And so I did that, and I took these prints down to Andy at Atticus. I'm like, and I kind of gave him the pitch that I gave to Visit Spokane. And he's like, yeah, love it, 100%. And this is what I'm talking about, like Spokane having your back. Totally supportive, dug the idea, and he's like, anything you ever bring me, I'll just put a check in your hand. And sure enough, and so I just started, I would work a 40-hour week, and then in the evenings, I would just be pulling prints in the washroom, after dinner and stuff like that. And it just kept growing and growing and growing. And I would get a call from Andy almost weekly saying, hey, we need more. And
Like, really?
yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
okay.
I'm like, I'm making a living kind of here just from selling artwork. And then it got to the point that it was so big that I either had to quit making art or I had to quit the Inlander. And I talked about it with Liz, and I said, you only get one shot at your dream.
Yeah.
And, a job's a job.
And there'll always be one.
There'll always be a job. Like, I'll go work at McDonald's. I don't have a ego thing attached to that, but
Me either.
yeah,
I'll do whatever I need to do.
absolutely, to make ends meet. And here I am with 2 young kids and a wife, and I said, okay, I'm going to take a leap of faith, and I tried it, and it just went from there. You know what I'm saying? It just kept going, and that's almost 10 years ago. So
It's incredible.
yeah.
Well, and some of the stuff that I've, seen lately out in the wild, so to speak, is some of the, like, the buildings that you're doing prints of, like historic, not even historic, but iconic buildings.
Yeah.
in Spokane.
Yeah, absolutely. And like when I came up with this idea, like there wasn't anyone doing anything like this. But I think we have beautiful things to celebrate here in this community. You know what I'm saying? And being able to, like, if it's a building or something like that, being able to present it in a new light and maybe see it in a way that says, that is pretty unique. Like the Spokane Regional Health District building, people,
little turrets, people shit on it all the time, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, it's unique
Definitely.
to Spokane, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no place else like that, you know what I'm saying? And so people love to hate that building, but the same architect that designed the Parkade,
same
or
person.
the airport, same Warren Howman, it's like he created this building, and it either hate it or love it. It's unique. It's unique to Spokane, and finding out his story. Did you know that the 4 little trash can things are emulating the top of the courthouse building, the spire? There's like 4 things, and he basically deconstructed that and made this kind of modernist version of it. And originally
that was the inspiration.
Yeah.
Was the courthouse to that.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I'd be like, "Those are the turrets." I always could just imagine, the little cannons.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there was going to be,
there's beauty in that, right? There's history in that.
There is. And and same with the Parkade. Like there's beauty in the Parkade. You know what I'm saying?
An awesome building.
It's really cool, and I'm so glad they just decided to restore it and keep it rather than level it. You know what I'm saying? Like Seattle did with a lot of their buildings. Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool about Spokane. Like even when they remodeled LC, they could have leveled that place, but they kept it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and made it incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really cool part of this community is when I was researching stuff in Seattle, I would find like postcards and matchbooks of old hotels and stuff like that. I'm like, man, where is that stuff? It got raised. It got leveled, turned into parking lots, turned into modern buildings, things like that. So,
well, shoot, even Davenport Hotel, that was about to be a parking lot.
Absolutely.
Spokane came together. There was visionaries in our town.
Yeah.
Fox Theater, same thing.
Another one. Bing, the Met, same thing. That's pretty cool.
Spokane does have it's kind of unique to us, isn't it?
It is. It's really unique that we're able to see and appreciate that and just say, okay, let's keep it alive. Let's preserve it. You know what I'm saying? And
the community rallies to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Oh, I love it.
I know.
Well, what are you got on your mind? What's the future looking like?
Like,
what are you planning?
Would you call it community building? I don't know. Maybe so.
I am. Yeah.
Like, I desire, and I don't, people always ask me, like, what's the next 10 years look like? I don't know, to be honest. Like,
well, if you have that crystal ball, let's go make some money. No.
Yeah. But what drives me is creating this one-of-a-kind, unique experience for people that we haven't seen before here in Spokane, like the Boneyard event or something like that. What I would love to see, I went to the Neon Museum in Las Vegas, and I went to a couple other neon museums.
Oh, my wife, Kathy, if you hear this, I'm sorry. We were just there last week. She's like, Steve, I want to go to the Neon Museum. And we just didn't have enough time. So we had to bail.
Bummer.
And she was disappointed.
Bummer.
So,
yeah.
Because it was amazing, huh?
It was. It's incredible. It's incredible.
All right, I'm taking you back.
But, what is that going to turn into for me? Like, I would love to be able to, either move all the signs and start a museum, or it morphs into a restaurant bar where all these neon signs live and people can come experience them on a daily basis. So that's what drives me is like when I see more of these things like theaters go under and these experiences go under, I think Spokane is hungry for something unique and something new. And so that kind of is where I'm looking. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that vision because I bet, when everyone was out at your property, you saw the joy in people's faces because they had all those memories that came back when they saw those signs.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a collective history too.
It
right?
is. It is. Yeah. Because like a lot of people would come out. I have the Luigi sign. Now that was my first job at Luigi's. There's that connection like that. And one thing I'll confess is like I hate public speaking, but I wanted to give a tour of all these signs on my property, and so like 8:30 rolls around and there's a lot of people milling about, and then I got a microphone and a speaker, and all of a sudden like everybody just gravitated around me, and they were just like, the joy was just enthusiastic. You know what I'm saying? They were just so supportive.
You captured their heart.
Yeah, it was in that moment that people were just like hooked on every word. You know what I'm saying? And they were just there and they're saying, yes, thank you. You know what I'm saying? This is awesome. This is fantastic. So those type of experiences is what I am looking for in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the future of vintage print. Whatever it morphs into and whatever kind of thing it becomes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was actually having a conversation with Toby.
Our VP of state programs at SkillsKid.
Yeah. I had, Toby and I go way back. And, like, this is early days of vintage print. And he shared something with me that always kind of stuck with me. And he said that people don't want just the same old type of thing. They don't want a retail store. They don't want the same thing. What they're craving is an experience.
Yeah.
And that always stuck with me. And I was like, if you could, like, going out to Roos Field and Cheney, like, people make the drive to go all the way out there and experience that. Or, like, back in the day, like, we would go to drive-in theaters and you would make the trek all the way, and, you'd be in your pajamas and, you know what I'm saying, watch a movie in the cold air and stuff like that. But it was an experience. And I think what the Boneyard thing has shown me is that people were willing, like 500 people from Spokane were willing to drive all the way out to Medical Lake for something very unique. You know what I'm saying?
And unknown.
Yeah, and unknown. Absolutely. I didn't know what was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. That's the exciting part. It's like the more that we can provide that and provide joy for people, especially in this dark world that we're living in, these dark times, the more that you can provide, almost like Disneyland, like Walt Disney did for Disneyland, like this almost escapism from this darkness, like I think that should be celebrated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why this show was created.
Absolutely. And
Chris,
so,
I'm a fan.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Like I see the vision.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how I can be a part of it. Yeah,
absolutely.
And just help support.
Yeah, I think more people kind of, and we crave that. We crave that escapism. We crave that joy, that fun, and things like that. And the more community building that happens around that, it just seems to spur on more things. Like people come up to me and like, hey, we should partner with this. We should do this. We should do this. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Let's do it. Let's try it. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, I'm excited, man.
Chris, me too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on today. I know our listeners are just having a great time hearing more about you. please follow Chris. Follow his work. Your shop's up in Garland. What's it called? Vintage Print?
Yeah, Vintage Print.
There we go. Go show up. Bring your kids. I hear there's some fun there for them.
There's a lot of fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.